out of the red corner, an undefeated mixed martial artist holding a perfect professional record.
What's up, YouTube? Crossover MMA back in here for another video. This will be my UFC 311 recap. I went 9-4 on the card, not too bad. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. In the main event, we had Islam Makhachev versus Renato Moicano for the lightweight title. Round one, both guys come out. They're feeling each other out. There were really 3 exchanges. In the first exchange, Islam Makhachev clipped Renato Moicano with a left straight. And then the next 2 exchanges, both guys are landing. You can see pretty clearly, Moicano's length is giving Islam a problem to solve. But not too long after that, Islam Makhachev gets a takedown halfway through the round. Moicano manages to scramble. Instead of trying to get away in the scramble, he actually shoots in on Islam. And then Islam catches him in a front headlock and uses that front headlock to lock up a Darce choke, rolls over. Islam Makhachev gets the tap. It's a first round submission. It's another title defense, extends Islam's win streak to 15. He's 1 win shy of tying Anderson Silva's record. It only strengthens his case as the greatest lightweight ever. It doesn't really strengthen it too much, but the fact that it gives him another win in the division and another title defense, now it makes him the record holder for the most title defenses in lightweight history. In my opinion, he still needs the Arman win whenever that happens. Maybe it doesn't happen. I know Dana White said that Arman isn't going to get the next title fight. If it's Charles Oliveira, another win over Oliveira, I definitely think cement Islam is the greatest lightweight ever, and it's not up for debate anymore. In the co-main event, we had Marab Dvalishvili versus Umar Nurmagomedov for the bantamweight title. This fight was amazing, guys. Absolutely amazing. Back and forth. At one point, one guy's up. So starting out round one, both guys come out, bouncing in and out. Umar lands a nice 1-2 to start. Merab responds right away with a right hand. Now the fight is on. Merab lands a big overhand in the first round, and then he shoots. Umar manages to stuff it, but Merab does land a couple shots on the exit. Umar then hurts Merab with a right hand at the end of the round, and in my opinion, it was the biggest shot of the round. Up until that point, I had Merab winning the round, but that last shot towards the end of the round, it wobbles Merab pretty good. And I thought that was enough to steal the round for Umar. I gave it 10-9 for Umar Nurmagomedov. Round 2, they come out, they're exchanging, and Umar is really getting the better of the exchanges. The pace is starting to turn up in the fight. Umar's jab is just landing pretty much anytime he throws it, but he's just not throwing it enough. They're exchanging, and now Merab is moving forward. It's a very competitive round. I gave this another 10-9 for Umar Nurmagomedov. Round 3, Merab comes out, and he's just a completely different guy. He comes out forward on the pressure. Umar's been a bit more stationary this round, and I think this is when the pace really started to get to him a little bit. And Umar's throwing shots, and he's trying to keep Merab off of him, but he just isn't having much luck as Merab is just coming forward relentlessly. And at this point, that's when Merab starts to turn up the pace. And you can see at this point that Umar is starting to slow down. And I gave this round a 10-9 for Marab Dvalishvili. Round 4, they come back out, and Merab picks up right where he left off, right back on the pressure, right back in Umar's face, shooting takedown attempts. Umar defends the takedown. And at this point, Umar is pretty much just reacting to Merab. Merab's taking control of the fight, and he's just dictating the pace to Umar. And Umar, like I said a second ago, is really just reacting to Merab. And at this point, this is when it became very clear that Umar was very gassed. And, you know, as soon as Merab sees this, he just turns up the pressure and the pace even more. And at this point, this is when, like, the difference in the striking skill starts to go away as Umar starts to get more tired, and Merab is now able to land some better shots. Both guys land in the exchange, and Umar is just starting to melt as he is exhausted at this point. And I gave this round a 10-9 for Marab Dvalishvili. Round 5, they come back out, and Merab jumps right back on Umar again, just putting the pressure on. Umar defends takedown after takedown attempt. And you can just see him just getting so drained defending these takedowns. And he's throwing, but there just isn't much on the shots. And Merab is just stalking Umar. And Merab lands a massive right hand that snaps Umar's head back very good, wobbles him a little bit. And then Merab gets 2 takedowns, and that's the end of the fight. I gave round 5 a 10-9 for Marab Dvalishvili. I'll probably put the stats up on significant strikes and the official judges' scorecards. Marab Dvalishvili, I had it 48-47, unanimous, but the scorecards ended up being 48-47, 48-47, and 49-46 for Marab Dvalishvili. Man, Marab's cardio is legit a cheat code. His pace just wears guys down, and that's when it levels the playing field and skill on the feet. I guess Marab's next title defense will either be Sean O'Malley or Peter Yan, or perhaps those 2 guys can fight again, and the winner can get another title shot. In the featured fight, we had Jiri Prochazka versus Jamal Hill. Round 1, both guys come out. It's going tit for tat. Jiri, at this point, I mean, he's trying to keep his hands up a little bit, but I wouldn't say it's much more than normal. But the big thing I noticed straight away is Jiri's head movement. Like, he's moving his head a lot more, and he's being a little more cautious of the range, and he's not being as reckless as he normally is. Jiri then lands a beautiful left straight, clean. It drops Jamal Hill very early in the fight. And Jiri goes to swarm Jamal Hill, but Jamal Hill manages to survive, gets back to his feet, and then Jamal Hill starts to land his own punches, but I think it was too little too late, and I gave round 1 because of the drop, and that's such a big shot for Jiri Prochazka. Round 2, Jamal Hill comes out a bit more aggressive, moving forward, and is being more aggressive, more assertive, landing more strikes. Jiri's countering well, and both guys are landing. It's a very competitive round, but I gave round 2 10-9 for Jamal Hill. Round 3, Jamal Hill picks up where he left off, moving forward on the pressure. Jiri lands a left straight that hurts Jamal Hill. And you know what happens when Jiri Prochazka lands something and he thinks he's got you hurt? He just starts to overwhelm you, and he just turns into an avalanche. Jamal Hill responds with his own shot, but then Jamal Hill overextends on a shot, and Jiri counters beautifully with a beautiful combination. Drops Hill, swarms him. Jamal Hill manages to get back to his feet, but then Jamal Hill gets dropped again. Jiri Prochazka swarms him and gets the ground and pound TKO finish. Jiri, in my opinion, really leveled up after the second Alex Pereira KO. He's doing a much better job of managing the distance and not being so reckless. Potentially his next fight, I think you can either do the Khalil Roundtree fight, or you can give Jiri the winner of Jan Blachowicz, Carlos Ulberg. In the next fight, we had Jailton Almeida versus Serghei Spivac. So they come out feeling each other out, and you know, you got 2 good grapplers, and they're really just feeling each other out on the feet. Next thing you know, Serghei Spivac gets a takedown and then starts mixing in some nice ground and pound, but Almeida uses it to sweep to reverse position and end up on top. And then Almeida manages to get Serghei Spivac's back. And then next thing you know, Serghei Spivac reverses that position and ends up back on top. Then Jailton Almeida manages to escape and get back to his feet. And then when they get back to their feet, Jailton Almeida just starts letting his hands go, and he is lighting Serghei Spivac up on the feet. Almeida then goes for a takedown, gets the takedown, goes right into the mount. Serghei Spivac rolls to his stomach, goes to turtle, gives his back. Jailton Almeida gets both hooks in, flattens him out, and gets the ground and pound finish. And it's a very good finish for Jailton Almeida with just a few seconds left in round 1. Jailton Almeida, in my opinion, definitely has some potential with the hands. I think he just needs to keep working on it and just keep showing it in his fights. As we know, his grappling is very dangerous, as he has some of the best grappling in the division. I think the next fight for him, he called out Ciryl Gane. I think that's definitely a good fight for him. I do know Ciryl Gane managed to break a couple toes in his last fight against Alexander Bekoev. Who knows? Maybe Alexander Volkov can slide into that Jailton Almeida fight. In the next fight, we have Kevin Holland versus Reinier De Ridder. De Ridder comes out, and I mean, he gets a takedown straight away on Kevin Holland as if he's Khamzat Chimaev. Kevin Holland just goes with a closed guard and isn't really trying to get back to his feet. He's just playing the guard game, and De Ridder's mixing in a little bit of ground and pound, and then next thing you know, De Ridder ends up on Kevin Holland's back, locks up a rear naked choke, and Kevin Holland taps. And I mean, Reinier De Ridder makes very quick work of Kevin Holland. I definitely think this guy should get a big jump in competition. I think he's like 34, 35 years old. He doesn't really have any time to waste. And I'm sure the UFC is paying him some decent money since he came over from one championship as a former champion. Perhaps his next fight, you can give him a matchup with Michel Pereira, who's coming off a loss and needs to defend his number 15 spot at middleweight. Before we get into the prelim highlights, like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps your boy out and it's free. In the next fight, we have Serghei Spivac versus Azmat. Round one, Bekoev comes out moving forward and gets a takedown very early on Serghei Spivac. Start using some ground and pound to loosen up Serghei Spivac as he's trying to go for an armbar, but that isn't really getting close. Next thing you know, Bekoev just starts unloading with ground and pound and put Serghei Spivac out cold. Referee jumps in and Kyle Reese his eyes are just looking off in space and he is just not there. It was a beautiful ground and pound finish, and looks like we have another young prospect at middleweight. And I think this division is going to make a run in 2025 as potentially being the best division in the UFC. In the next fight, we have Bogdan Guskov versus Billy Ellinkano. In round two, Bogdan comes out moving forward and just stalking Billy. Billy isn't really backing Bogdan off of him and isn't landing anything of consequence. And he's virtually just getting walked down. And at this point, you can tell that Billy's starting to get a little tired. He did take this fight on short notice, so his cardio isn't quite there. Bogdan is just really just throwing shots, landing on him, and Billy just isn't throwing back. Bogdan then lands a nice right hand and then a nice body shot. Billy at this point is just stuck up against the side of the octagon, and Bogdan is just unloading shots on him. Billy isn't defending himself at all. He's just getting beaten up. Then Billy's on a knee, just eating clean shots. And Bogdan's like, all right, I've had enough of this. And then just goes in for a choke, gets the tap, and Bogdan gets the second round submission. Bogdan should, in my opinion, his next fight should probably be Anthony Smith. I know Anthony Smith, number 15. And at this point, let's send Anthony Smith out with a banger fight where we won't even know who's landing on who, because both guys look alike. And I think that's what we should do. Now, if you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And as always,